Hello, this is Fan Kim from MSBA. In this video, I would like to review on my past working and learning experience at SP Digital. I started my internship as a data scientist intern at SP Digital in December 2020. This has really been an enriching journey. SP Digital is an energy tech company. It is part of SP Group, one of Singapore's largest corporations and the leading energy utility in the Asia Pacific. SP Digital develops and sells energy tech products, focusing on renewable and energy efficiency. For example, SP Utilities. There are several departments under SP Digital, and I am in the data science team. What I have done during this period can be separated into two parts, work and learning. The work part is mainly data analysis with Python notebook and some research. And the learning part includes learning an online course on machine learning with some hands-on codes and improving my domain knowledge about the energy industry. To be more specific about my work, here is a problem statement. The main project that I have been working on is related to energy saving. At the beginning of this project, there was only an ultimate goal regarding the final level of energy savings. What we need to do first is to think of analytics questions for the meters. How could we derive insights from this energy data and metadata? Do we need any other data? Then the following question would be, what are the possible energy saving interventions which could help achieve this goal, as well as how to measure the effectiveness of this intervention. After reading some related papers, I have consolidated the potential questions into the following aspects. First is temporal analysis and weather analysis. And thirdly, the house condition analysis, which is about the impact of building age and size to the consumption. And there are also customer segmentations, which mainly focus on understanding customers' daily routines within the households so that we can isolate the external factors on their consumption. After discussing with my buddy, we decided to focus on analyzing the impact of temperature and time on the consumption. Because these are more justifiable questions, and besides, we already have this data. To be more specific, what I need to explore is how does the time of day impact the total and each individual area's consumption, and how is the impact of day of the week. In terms of the temperature, I need to look at the temperature's impact by day and by the hour. For each question, I quantified its relationship with consumption by regression. And for hourly data, I also adjusted each hour's weight by its correlation. Next, I explored the potential interventions which could lead to energy savings. First, it's about the intervention element types. For example, the effective ones are the digital apps and workshop and training and household retrofit. Also, there are interventions which related to customers' behavior change. For example, look at if the customer is a cost-focused one, or they are ease-driven one, or they are environment-minded ones. And there are also interventions with the buildings. For example, a home energy management system or a household retrofit. I also looked at the side effects of the interventions because while interventions might have positive effects, it could also lead to side effects. For example, sometimes people raise their awareness on water consumption, but their electricity consumption actually increases. After discuss our potential interventions and our analytical questions with our client has deployed one of the interventions, and we need to measure the intervention's effectiveness. During the process of analysis, the data I used was extracted from the metadata. Some of the data sets my mentor directly gave them to me, while for others, I may need to do some pre-processing from the metadata. for example, match and merge, and only keeps the necessary variables for the notebook analysis. During these 2 months, I have also received patient guidance and enthusiastic help from my buddy. And I've been greatly inspired by the discussion with him, because he does not simply give me tasks or simply want an answer from me, but he would encourage and assist me in developing the analysis methodology. And every time I present to him, he would dig deeper and ask me to clarify the underlying logic. Because of this, I would think more and especially think about why when I do research or analysis. And that's definitely a good and necessary habit. Apart from my buddy, I also received many help from other colleagues at SP, from the initial setup and guidance of VPN and GET, etc., to part of the project discussion. Next, in this technical analysis part, I will talk about how to measure the intervention effectiveness. At first, we consider statistical testing. However, with paired t-test only, we could not eliminate the priori difference between the paired objects. So we may conclude that there is a significant difference in electricity consumption. We could not say that it is purely contributed by the intervention. So we come to the method of difference in difference. Basically, we run a regression with 2 binary variables, one referring to the time, if it is post or pre-intervention, and the other referring to if it is a control group or treatment group. And the third variable would be the product of these 2 binary variables. And the coefficient of this interactive variable would directly give us the impact of our intervention. Although this difference in difference method has excluded the difference in the trend over time and the original difference between 2 groups, there is still one assumption that we need to validate, the common trend assumption. However, this seems does not hold for all paired objects. But through the discussion with my buddy, we think it might be because there are some commercial areas like malls in some area. So we need to subtract the commercial consumption first. Apart from this special assumption for difference in difference, we also need to check some common assumptions for linear regression. However, with our data, assumptions of the normality of residuals and constant variance of errors, they are all not satisfied. Therefore, we need to find a more robust way to estimate our coefficient. So we decided to use Bayesian approach. This approach would assume a priori distribution of the coefficients and adjust these distribution by using the data as the evidence. By looking at the final credible interval this Bayesian approach returns, we could interpret the significance of the variable. So this is a more appropriate way of estimating in our case. And in the learning part, I find the primer to electricity very helpful. I have read the learner's guide and the technical information course notes. Actually, I read the technical information one at first, but I find the learner's guide more helpful because it firstly provides a digest of the technical information, clarifying all the important concepts like power, current, and energy, etc. This helps raise my awareness of differentiating power and energy when performing pre-processing and analyzing. After that, it provides a detailed introduction to SP utility and some energy saving principles. I am still on this part, but I think I should have read it first as it is more related to my work and could provide more guidance. Maybe next time when I have some similar materials to learn, I should look through both first and decide which to look into. So to summary, from the past experience, the most enlightening part of work for me is discussing and developing analysis methodology. From this process, I learned that we need to be precise with the potential questions we are to answer. Because some questions might produce informative insights, but might not be so helpful to our final objective. And I also learned the importance of communication and discussion for productivity. Through the discussion, I found that each of us actually raised different perspectives, and after consolidating our insights, we could find a more comprehensive approach. And in the technical analysis process, I have refreshed on statistical knowledge and part of the SQL. And I also get better understanding of the assumptions of linear regression and knows better how to deal with the cases when the assumptions are violated. So if I were to give some recommendations to myself in the future work and learning, in terms of the technical skills, I would consciously develop analytical skills and especially always have the potential future steps in mind to work towards our final goal. And I also need to try to code more efficiently, both in terms of method and speed. I would continue learning the online machine learning courses to improve my mathematical understanding of the algorithms. In terms of non-technical skills, first, I think I need to improve the presentation techniques, which improves the communication. And I would also continue expanding and deepening the knowledge of electricity, or more broadly, the energy industry. So this is all of my presentation. Thanks for listening. And thank you again for all the teach and help during the past months.